For a few minutes, I thought I'd come to the wrong place. High tide was about, 45, 50 minutes ago. And the subject I want to shoot is still underwater. So this is going to be an interesting one. We are an hour off of sunset. I'm going to try and shield the mic a little bit. It is blowing a wee hoolie. It's coming that way down the beach. I've managed to leave the sand feet in the van. And we're going to have no colour for sunset. Other than that, it's really good. It's an age since I've been here. For those of you who haven't recognised the little bit of B-roll I've shown you, we're at Wallasey. And somewhere out there is a sea defence. It's just starting to break through. There's another one over there. But I'm all disorientated because the water is so high. It was an 8.3 metre tide, but I'm guessing the wind is bringing it in. Now, I'm going to go and get set up in a second because I want some minimal shots. There's a surprise, things you never hear me say. And I think, if memory serves, tide goes out of this place really rapidly. We had high tide just gone to, then we've had slack water which has gone on for longer than I expected, probably about half an hour, and now the tide is beginning to recede. You can just make out the sea defence is coming through. So I am going to go and get set up over there and try not to get blown away. Well, I've jumped straight in to one of the obvious compositions, which is straight down the 4 sets of sea defences. And 4 is the problem. I'm not sure if I'm actually in view here. I'm blind. So, yes, it needs to be 3 because 4 isn't spacing. Now, I've done a couple of 58 second images, and they kind of work, but they're not as bright as I wanted. I've just let one run for 132 seconds, which is too exposed, and that was at f14. I've got the 6 stop on because I want everything white. I've got the polarizer turned off, so it's putting reflections on the water, or it's lightening the water. I'll try and show you through the camera what I mean. I can't get the exposure any better on this at the moment. If I turn the polarizer, that's the position I've had it in, so the reflections are essentially there. When I've turned it off, I've taken the polarization off, and it's an awful lot darker. That's roughly the composition I'm now aiming at. I've just got to tweak it a little bit, because you can see we're not quite straight down that second set of groins. And if I move that just sends me off centre slightly. It's a real monkey to get a composition that I'm 100% happy with here. So that's level, that's better. But yeah, I wanted that effect with the polarizer rather than that. I may well do one like that, just for the hell of it, but that's the one I was after because that gives me a really minimal effect. And I have a 0.6, medium grad. And I've actually bought a Nissi glass filter because I keep scratching my Lee filters. So I thought, I'll have a go at one of these here Nissi filters, see what I think. And so far, it's okay. There doesn't seem to be any sort of cast on it. Hello, doggy. I don't know if you'll see him in shot down there. I'm shooting just past where he is, or she is rather. So I'm now going to go for about 90 seconds. I think that'll be about right. 132 was 2 blown out on the top right hand side, and 58 seconds wasn't quite long enough. Can't believe how many dogs there are down here. So we'll see. We've got a lovely goopy sky, which means we're going to get a nice, even image. That's better. That's 73. That's a little bit better. I actually quite like the blown out one. They're going to end up mono. So I'm not too worried about having a little bit of a colour cast on them. But I do want to move over to the left to shoot so that I have a groin or two groins coming down either side. And luckily, because I'm doing a long exposure, it doesn't matter that people are walking in front of the camera. Oh, and I may actually ooch a little bit further forward than I am now that the tide is out and I'm safe from that 6th or 10th wave that tends to come in and cover you. Because I've got caught before, although not here, thankfully. So just pack my bag up. I'm keeping an eye out for the other sea defence, which is over there somewhere. I think I can just see the waves hitting over the top of it. But I like this one. So let me just do my bag up. And I want to stick with it for about 90 seconds. So while this cooks, I'm just going to see if I can figure a way to get down there a little bit further. Because as the tide recedes, I'm going to see more of these, which I don't want, or more depth on them. I just want them across the top of the water. That's a little bit better. Yes, quite like that. Not quite over the right-hand side of the histogram. So it's not blown out. Yeah, like that. The wind's now picked up so much that I really can't see my way to filming any B-roll. It's just too breezy. I've actually come down the beach closer to the end of the groins. The other set have just started showing through. So I'm going to wander over there. I'm still shooting on the 17-55. Ideally I could do with the 70-200 on, but there's so much wind that would just be a blurry mess. It's really not any good. I'm pushing it at the moment at 20 seconds at f6.3, and I'm just going to flip you around and show you the vague composition that we're doing. We're going to get a bit blown over all over the place. So basically I'm shooting from about here out to the end, and then just in there you can see the other ones coming out of the water, and it sort of gives a blurry effect. It's the only way I can describe it. A blurry effect. As if the camera's been moving, but I keep double checking and it hasn't. No, it hasn't. It's very strange. As I've got closer to the right-hand set of concrete groins, sea defences, whatever you want to call them, I've realised the tide's not quite far enough out for me to get the effect I was after. So I've changed my mind. That image actually looks like it's on the wonk, but it isn't. It is straight as a die. I'm just shooting straight out. The blocks are on a slight angle, which is making it really difficult to get space to the right and to the left. Because I've got literally a line across the centre of the image, which is the blocks, or which are the blocks. It's the blocks, it's the blocks. And then that's just surrounded by water. It's going to have a little bit of tweaking in post to chop or to lose the furthest right block and the furthest left block to make the image I'm wanting. It sort of looks like a walkway across the water. It's still not quite right because the angle these things are set up, I think I need to be slightly down there. Yeah, I'm just going to go and have a look because it's just blown my mind, this. What's happening is the image I've got on the screen, the left-hand blocks are at an angle going to the bottom left of the screen. The right-hand blocks are just coming straight at me. It isn't quite the effect I was after. But we're not going to give up. Well, I'm faffing and I'm playing, and I'm still not really getting what I'm after. Because the defences go that way, they're at an angle. They're making it appear that the horizon isn't level because they're on a slope. If I straighten the horizon to straighten those, that's not going to look right because the horizon's going to be off. So what I might end up doing is losing the horizon and then straightening it in post. Because I can't see any other way of getting what I want. I think what I want is actually impossible because the groins go at an angle across the water and the horizon is obviously straight. I've almost got what I want, but not quite. There will be some Photoshop. This will be more digital art than an image, but I've got to have the base image to start with. I've given up any hope of trying to use the gimbal because the breeze is just too strong, and shooting at a maximum of 20 seconds and f6.3 is about all I can manage at the moment, because otherwise I get camera movement. There's another, you see here, that curve there, just going out to that marker post. I'd like to get that, but I can't quite get close enough to lose the rocks that are in the foreground, which make it a bit tutty. And I do know that that marker post is a lovely green because I've shot it before. But I've got a couple of images that are different to what I've got here before, so that's quite nice. Liking that. I'm going to have another wander back here, and then that's it. I'll tell you that bit in a second. Well, realistically, I've now lost the little bit of light that we had, although it does seem to be getting a little, vertigo, a little bit brighter up there. This is the curve that I was talking to you about earlier, and I really like this curve. I tried shooting it from the other side because it's a cleaner foreground, but shoot from the other side, you lose the curve. This is the only way you get the curve that goes out to the groin at the bottom, and the groin, or the marker post rather, is not at the end of that curve. It's slightly offset to the right, but I don't care. I'm sticking with my same setup, a 0.6, I think it's a medium grad, the 0.6 medium grad, the 6 stop, and the polarizer again turned off. I did try an image with the polarizer turned on. It looked flipping awful. Didn't like it at all. So that's it in terms of images, I think. I chose to come back to Wallasey because it seems like forever since I've been at the coast, after all the woodland stuff that I've been doing. And also I'm still not feeling 100% in my health, so I wanted somewhere easy to get to. Having said that, I stuck in 2 traffic jams on the way over, and somewhere relatively easy to get to when I got to the location, and this is ideal. And as I say, I haven't been here for a while. Yeah, I like that. The greens, it's almost a shame to change this to black and white because the greens are popping phenomenally. They really are. That was 80 seconds, f9, ISO 100, sharp as a sharp thing, with 300 seagulls in residence. So yes, bit different from being in the woods. I needed to get back to somewhere that I could just get my eye in again with seascapes. And the first place that sprang to mind was this. I think, oh yeah, sunset is about now. It's around about 4 o'clock, 4 o'clock for sunset. What's that all about? There's a possibility the sky might light up, but I'm not holding my breath. So I'm not going to hang around. I've done what I wanted to do, got my eye back in, come away with a couple of different images, and got some sea air. What could be better? So I shall pop the images up. Fingers crossed they've worked. Hope you guys and gals have a great week, and I shall see you next Sunday. Oh, before I forget, and whilst I remember, keep your images coming. I know I'm being slack at responding. There's an awful lot going off at the moment, and keeping emails and social media at the forefront of my mind isn't really happening, as I've got a lot going off. So, but please do keep your images coming. There are some absolute blinders coming in. You lot really are amazingly good. I'll put the email address down below. Okie dokie. That's it. I'm done. Have a great week. Toodaloo.